Hey guys, Pro1701 here, and today we're going to talk about the 2003 Webcast version of Shada, which stars the 8th Doctor, played by Paul McGann, and of course has Lalla Ward back as Romana, and actually John Leeson as K9, which is interesting to me because John Leeson did not voice K9 in season 17, and thus did not voice K9 in Shada originally. I remember the other actor, I believe his name was David. I know he's passed away. Daniel, David, I think it's David. Voiced K9 for season 17. And of course, John came back and voiced K9 in season 18. But it's really interesting to have John voicing K9 here, which I prefer John, so I actually really like that. That's one thing I like. One of the few things I really like better about this version than, say, the 2017 version is K9 sounds like K9. His voice is always a little off for me in season 17, since it's not John voicing him. I like the fact that they have a good reason why it's the 8th Doctor in the story, because we know in real life they asked Tom Baker to do it. He didn't want to do it. He just really wasn't doing Doctor Who related stuff in 2003. We're very blessed that he does so much now. Very, very blessed. So they got Paul McGann to do it. And I love how they tie it in with Five Doctors, with that scene in Five Doctors when the Doctor and Romana get scooped up by the time scoop and then stuck in stasis. I love that it references that at the beginning and uses that as a good springboarding off point for why the 8th Doctor's having to go back and do it now. It's an altered time and events. That's a pretty neat little take. I like that. The animation is rough looking. It's definitely of its time in 2003. It has that flash animation, which really took some getting used to. Of course, you know, the mouths don't move for the characters, and it's very, very limited animation, very limited flash animation. I mean, it makes all of the modern animations we get now look just stunning by comparison. It's interesting how much they were doing even with the Invasion just 3 years after this, how good Invasion looked by comparison. Invasion still looks really good. So, I mean, even if you watch the original version of Power of the Daleks, it's much better animated than this. But I did adjust to it over time. It was a little hard to get through, but I did finally adjust. By the end of it, I had gotten used to the animation. I did watch it in parts. Like, I watched one episode, and then the next day I'd watch like a couple episodes, and the next day a couple episodes, because it is 6 parts. They run it as one long movie, but it does have opening and closing credits for all 6 parts, equaling about 2 hours and 25 minutes right up in their total to watch it all. I liked it. I think it's an interesting, different take on Shada. I prefer the 2017 version, and that'll be the definitive version I watch. But this was nice just to have a different way of looking at it. I like some of the stuff the animation does. I like the interior of Skagra's ship. It has a very alien feel to it, much more so than the 2017 production. Like, this guy's definitely from another planet. And then the outside ship model used for the ship and the other big ship as well look a lot better, in my opinion. I love the space dock design, the space station at the very beginning of the story, where the think tank is kept. I love that spaceship design in the webcast version here. It looks very alien, very, very alien, and I think it's realized better than the 2017 version. So I like where they put the animation to use here and really getting creative with it. I think the animation drawing of Skagra is really good, which I think the guy playing Skagra in the live action version is also really, really good. But I did once I got used to the animation of him being so different, I really liked him. Some things I never quite connected with, like the professor in it. I'm so used to the guy who plays Chronosis in the 2017 version, and the way he sounds and the way he looks, that the professor always seemed off to me. He didn't look right, he didn't sound right. It kind of bugged me the whole time. I was a lot easier with, like, Chris Parsons was fine. I love the fact he wore a scarf the whole time. A nice nod to Tom. The one playing the girl that's kind of Chris's sort of but not girlfriend, her animation was fine, even though it was different. Although I prefer the 2017 version just because it's a brunette and I'm not as keen on blondes. But if you watch it, you adjust, I think, to the animation. I adjusted the animation. By the end of it, I thought it was fine. I liked some of the little nods and Easter eggs that are in it. Like when the professor's trying to remember Parsons' name, they're going through the alphabet. He's like BBC, BBC. Nice little joke there. I like that the car Skagara gets into is a Ford Prefect, and it mentions Ford Prefect a couple times there, which is a nice nod, of course, to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is fitting since Shada's written by Douglas Adams. Of course, he created Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, though. It's a nice nod to that. There were other little moments in there, like I like the little added scene when the the doctor's talking about whether they should return Kronos or Sally Avon to prison or not, and Romano's like, no, we should let him go. You know, he's your old friend. La la la. Let's just pretend we don't know about it. And you kind of get the idea that's what the doctor wanted. He just kind of, I don't want to say manipulated or tricked Romano to coming to that conclusion, but he nudged her in the right direction coming to that conclusion. Guess what he really wanted. That's a nice little added scene I don't remember being in the 2017 version. There's a couple other parts too I can't really remember where they did a little something different here. That was a little that they didn't have in the 2017 version. I like the Sally Avon when they first realized Kronos is Sally Avon. The 2017 version, they don't say much. I think it's because the original actor who played Sally Avon had passed away. And so he only has that one line of, I'm sorry, doctor, and then he gets hit by the mind thing. I guess they didn't want the voice being different to really stand out, so they kind of cut the dialogue down for him there. Whereas in the 2003 webcast here, we actually see him talk. Well, of course, it should have been obvious by now. You didn't realize that I was Sally Avon. Now you need to stop what you're doing right now, or don't make me use my power on you. And you get the impression he's about to use his power on Skagara, but Skagara gets him with the ball first. You see him a little more active here, much like when they're first looking for Skagara. The doctor's like, no, we don't need to go that way. We need to go down here towards Sally Avon. Well, how do you know it's that way? I heard footsteps. So I like that the professor is a little more utilized on Shada and actually trying and a little more helpful here, whereas in the 2017 version, I'm guessing because they didn't have a voice that matched perfectly, they wanted to keep the dialogue to the minimum for him so it wouldn't really stand out. And it just seems like he got hit way too easy in the 2017 version. It's always been a complaint of mine about that, is that you just see his eyes kind of glow and then he gets hit by the ball. And I would have liked to have had that fleshed out a little more like the webcast version does. And it's just nice for me to kind of see more of McGann. Even though it's flash animation, I'm getting to see some McGann on the screen. That's pretty nice. I mean, much like with the recreations, I'm getting to see more Troughton on the screen. Even though it's animated, it's nice to see more McGann on the screen, even if it is very limited. So that was a nice little treat for me, and one of the reasons I watched it. One scene the 2017 handles better is when the doctor is recalibrating the ship to move more like a TARDIS. I don't like how in this version they're like, wow, that's incredible, and the 8th Doctor's like, yes, but it's still not enough. It's still not fast enough. I love the 2017 version where it's definitely more suited for the 4th Doctor. When Parsons like, that far in that much time, that's incredible, and Tom's just like, yes, incredibly slow. Now listen up, ship. I love that. It's one of my favorite Tom Baker's lines. Yes, incredibly slow. I wish they'd kept it like that here. They do kind of tailor this. Some of the jokes do come off as, why is the 8th Doctor saying things the 4th Doctor would say, but some of it is more tailored to the 8th Doctor. But I still think I prefer Tom Baker saying them. Like, I love that line at the beginning. Well, K9, you like the Earth, don't you? Negative, Master. The soul gets in my seat. K9 wants to go. It's very much a 4th Doctor line, even though it still works. I never realized that the ending of the 2017 version, that very wonderful ending, which I won't spoil if you haven't seen it, but I love that ending. When the Doctor makes that speech about who knows, in 200 years they might say, was that really the Doctor? I never realized that was part of the original story. I thought that scene might have been specially written just for the 2017 version. But no, it's actually in the webcast as well, so I'm guessing that's part of Douglas Adams' original story. Which is neat, kind of in context now of what we got with the modern series and everything that the Doctor has been through since, his 4th and 8th incarnations. It's kind of interesting how that's kind of prophetic in a way. I like the way the 8th Doctor does that scene as well, but it still can't hold a candle to that 2017 version. Is that really the Doctor? He seems such a nice old man. I love that. And it's neat to see that was originally part of the story, and that it connects to the way that scene is done in the 2017 version. It connects. It's just fits it perfectly, and the fact that it fits into Modern Who in such a prophetic way, because the Doctor has gone through so much as a character. So I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'll watch it again, maybe eventually, not for a while. I do prefer the 2017 version. I love Tom Baker. But I definitely think it is a nice little oddity to look back on and enjoy every blue moon. So if you haven't seen it, I would say give it a shot, because I do love some of the creative liberties they took with some of the designs in it. So that's my thoughts on the 2003 webcast version of Shada, starring the 8th Doctor. Well, starring Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor. Let me know what you think of it if you've listened to it, and what you think of Shada as a whole, and which versions of Shada you've seen or read. Other things to do, click the like button, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications so you never miss out on another video. I also have a Patreon if you like what I do and would like to contribute to what I do. There is a link to that down in the description below, so please check that out. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.